What an interesting book I've been reading, The Chronicles of Dr. Gribbleflotz. What a strange science fiction story. It's all about a town in West Virginia that gets transported back in time to Germany in the 1600s. Everything else in the town gets transported back with them, including their baking soda, which they need in order to bake their cakes and cookies. They run out of it. So they consult Dr. Gribbleflotz, who's an alchemist living in the 17th century. And because, of course, these people who have been transported back in time have some knowledge of chemistry, they learned it in high school, they can tell him what they want him to do. They want him to make some baking soda. And they tell him that this is done by taking some carbon dioxide and reacting it with ammonia and with salt. But of course, he doesn't know what ammonia is. He doesn't know what carbon dioxide is. But they kind of describe it to him. They tell him it's this mineral. You put acid on it, it gives off bubbles. That's how they describe carbon dioxide. And they tell him that ammonia is the smell of urine. And he knows what that is. That is indeed ammonia. So he combines these and he comes up with baking soda. And the bakers of this West Virginia town that have been transported back in time are happy with their baking soda. Well, of course, I like this because it's kind of a clever way to introduce people to some chemistry, like the chemistry of baking soda. And let me tell you a little bit about that. It really goes back to the middle 1800s when this was first promoted as a leavening agent. When it was discovered that when it is heated, it gives off carbon dioxide gas. And they started promoting it as an aid for cooks who wanted to not use yeast, but make cookies rise in a sort of a chemical fashion. Well, sodium bicarbonate will release carbon dioxide when it's heated, but even more so when it's combined with an acid. So the instructions usually were to combine the baking soda with sour milk, because sour milk contains lactic acid. And this explains why one of the first versions of baking soda was marketed was cow brand. And the cow, of course, represented the milk, the sour milk that would be combined with the baking soda to act as carbon dioxide releaser and leaven cakes and cookies. All right, well, so much for the baking soda. Now we go over to England and a chemist by the name of Alfred Bird, whose wife was allergic to yeast, so she couldn't eat bread. Now he knew about the reaction between baking soda and acids, but he thought that relying on sour milk was not very good. It was of different qualities, different acid concentrations. So he looked for a substance that he could combine with the baking soda that would reliably produce carbon dioxide, and he found it in cream of tartar. Cream of tartar is left behind when wine is made by fermenting grapes. And he combined cream of tartar with the baking soda, and he made this leavening agent. His wife was happy. Now we come back across the pond to the US. And a chemist working at Harvard University by the name of Eben Horsford. And he had an idea. He wanted to see whether or not you could combine the acid and the bicarbonate in one product so that you wouldn't have to measure out separate chemicals. And he found one. The trouble was that cream of tartar was very expensive, but he replaced it with another acid called calcium hydrogen phosphate, which he combined with the baking soda, and he came up with baking powder. Now, in order to prevent the baking soda and the acid from reacting prematurely, he added some cornstarch. The cornstarch keeps the two chemicals apart until you dump them in water, mix it with the dough, and then you get the bubbles. So now we have the magic of baking powder that can make our cakes and cookies rise. So we can be making all of those things that we probably should not be eating